Beyond the glass doors of an unassuming retail park lies an enigma, tucked away from the curious eyes of the public, carefully guarded by the SCP Foundation. What appears to be an ordinary IKEA store hides a far more sinister reality within. This is the infinite IKEA, classified as Euclid. While it may resemble a normal IKEA, familiar, even comforting, its labyrinthine halls stretch far beyond the limits of human comprehension, leading to a world where time and space have no clear boundaries. And once you step inside, there's no guarantee you'll ever find your way out. Those unfortunate enough to enter the infinite IKEA through its deceptively simple front doors find themselves trapped in an alternate dimension known only as the infinite IKEA, a massive, seemingly infinite space. What starts as a routine shopping trip for affordable furniture quickly spirals into an unending nightmare. At first, the space may appear familiar, like any other IKEA store, but as visitors walk farther from the entrance, the world they've known begins to blur. Aisles that once led to the exit now twist into impossible spirals, with row after row of identical shelves stretching endlessly into the distance. Imagine walking for hours, days, or even weeks, only to realize you're no closer to the exit than when you first entered. For those trapped within, survival becomes a daily struggle. Scavenging for food, fortifying settlements, and avoiding the store's most terrifying feature, the staff. The infinite IKEA is not without its inhabitants. Over the years, hundreds of civilians have vanished into this vast, anomalous space, forming rudimentary civilizations in a desperate attempt to stay alive. Makeshift towns rise from the very furniture meant to be sold, with shelves repurposed into walls and beds into barricades. These survivors live in constant fear of the entities known as the employees. To the casual observer, these figures might resemble IKEA employees, but look closer, and the illusion shatters. Their bodies are grotesquely disproportionate, far too tall, with limbs that bend at unnatural angles. Their featureless faces stare blankly ahead, unseeing, yet somehow aware. They move silently through the aisles during the day, seemingly harmless, aimlessly wandering. But when night falls, their true nature is revealed. As the lights dim and the store closes for the night, the staff become violent, hunting anything still alive within the store's infinite corridors. Their soft, polite voices echo through the darkness, repeating phrases like, "The store is now closed. Please exit the building," all while relentlessly pursuing their prey. Survivors barricade themselves within their makeshift settlements, hoping to survive the night as the staff slam against the walls, trying to force their way in. For those unlucky enough to be caught outside during closing hours, survival is not guaranteed. The staff attack with unrelenting fury, their inhuman strength far surpassing that of a normal human. While they show no signs of emotion, their singular purpose is clear. Eliminate any intruder who dares remain in their domain after closing time. Some speculate that the infinite IKEA is a world unto itself, detached from the ordinary laws of reality. The space stretches infinitely, with no discernible end in sight. Laser measurements have returned inconclusive results, leading researchers to believe that the store may indeed be boundless, a self-contained universe where time and space do not function as they should. Exits exist, but they appear randomly and with no fixed location, making escape a near impossible feat. Only 14 people have ever managed to escape the infinite IKEA, emerging dazed and disoriented after days, weeks, or even years spent wandering the endless halls. These survivors speak of towns built from IKEA furniture, of the silent, faceless staff who patrol the aisles, and of the unrelenting terror that comes with each night. They tell tales of societies formed out of necessity, with survivors banding together in the hope of staving off the nightly onslaught. But for each one who escapes, countless others remain trapped inside, lost forever in the endless aisles. The SCP Foundation's containment measures remain vigilant. The store's exterior is heavily guarded, with all roads leading to or passing by the infinite IKEA redirected. But the anomaly persists. No matter how many people are warned to stay away, there are always new victims, drawn in by the store's familiar facade, only to find themselves ensnared in a nightmare from which there is no easy escape. Even now, the SCP Foundation continues to study the nature of the infinite IKEA, seeking to understand the strange forces that govern its existence. But the truth remains elusive, hidden deep within the infinite labyrinth of shelves and furniture. For those who dare to venture inside, the question lingers: will they ever find their way back, or will they become just another lost soul, forever wandering the aisles of an IKEA that never ends? In the aftermath of an incident involving a man who tragically met his end at the hands of one of the employees, a journal was recovered from his possession. The pages offer a haunting first-hand account of his time trapped inside the vast, impossible world of the infinite IKEA. What follows is the chilling record of his descent into this nightmare. This is what it reads. So, I'm writing this to document what I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad a navigator, and yet, as I write this, I've been trapped in IKEA for 2 days. I haven't seen another person in all that time. At first, I thought it was a prank. Turn the place into a maze, get everyone out, see how long it takes me to get lost. We'd all have a good laugh at the end, right? But I realized that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed. Instead of the exit, I found myself surrounded by endless rows of bookcases. So I'm trapped in IKEA. Sounds like the setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m., nearly gave me a heart attack, that loud electrical thunk and then pitch blackness. The place is full of beds, though, and my phone has a torch on it, but no damn signal. So I found a bed and went to sleep. I spent most of the next day trying to find my way out, with no luck. I did find a restaurant serving those famous meatballs, though, so at least I won't starve. Funny, they were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. I made my way back to the beds before the lights went out again, since it's too dark to search with them off. It's 9:10 a.m. now, and the lights came back on a little while ago. I'm sure I've searched the entire area around where I came in, and the exit obviously isn't here. So I'm going to pick a direction and hope for the best. Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure something was seriously weird about this place before, I am now. I walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line, insert IKEA joke here, before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves. I climbed up to get my bearings, and it looks like this place just stretches on forever. It's like that scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass, it's all shelves, tables, and crap. I did see a person moving not too far away, though, so I headed over. At first, I thought it was a staff member. It was wearing the uniform. Hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot-tall monsters with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just the kind of thing they want working at Super IKEA. The thing completely ignored me, though, and with no eyes or ears, I can't even be sure it knew I was there. I thought about shoving it or something to get its attention, but its hands were big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. Eventually, I lost sight of it and carried on my way. No comfy bed for me tonight. I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. I guess I'll have to make do with some bunched-up tablecloths. My phone battery died during the day, too. It didn't work anyway, but I feel like I've just lost some vital lifeline. You ever see one of those cartoons where they're going through doors in a hallway and they just pop out of another door in the same hallway? That's how I feel right now. I've seen nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days now. Just row after row after row of them. I mean, come on. I love books as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forward, though. I can see the signs hanging overhead passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm going to write when I get out of here. I'll call it My Perfectly Normal Trip to a Regular Old IKEA. Finally found some other people. Yeah, turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess. My 6th night here, and 2 of those staff things came at me in the dark. They were different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. I heard them coming. They were saying the store was closed and that I had to leave the building, all nice and polite-like. I'm not sure what was weirder, that they didn't have mouths, or that they were trying to kill me while being so polite about it. They came at me like rabid dogs. So I legged it, sprinting through IKEA in the dark like a fucking madman. I saw it when I cleared another stand of those giant stock shelves, all lit up with torches and floodlights. They've built a whole town in here. Got a massive wall made out of shelves, beds, and tables. Whatever they could find. I swear to God, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I guess they saw me coming, or maybe they heard my girlish, manly bellows of fear, because they had a gate open and 2 people were waving me in. I heard the staff slam into the gate behind me after it closed, still politely informing us that the store was now closed. They eventually wandered off. They call the town Exchange because that's what's on the sign hanging from the ceiling directly above it. Exchange and Returns. The place is lit up against the night using lights they've scavenged and plugged into the power lines. There are beds, food, and, thank God, people, over 50 of them. Regular-sized limbs, full sets of facial features. It's my 7th night here, and the first one I haven't spent in darkness. A full week living in IKEA. There's probably a TV show in that somewhere. Now that I'm around other people, I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the right word, but after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps, I was starting to think I'd gone nuts. I was convinced I was in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the walls. But no, I feel pretty sane now, thank you very much. Apparently, there are other towns out there, some with more people, some with less. I found that fairly mind-boggling. How can so many people go missing without anyone noticing? Surely someone would have noticed if everyone who went to IKEA just disappeared. Or maybe it's not everyone. Maybe we're just the lucky ones. The people here just call those staff monsters the staff. They say they're fine during the day, just walking the aisles, minding their own business. But as soon as those lights go out, they go fucking bonkers. So, during the day, people go out to find food, water, and whatever else they need. Apparently, there are restaurants and shops scattered around that randomly restock. No one knows how or why. Maybe the staff do it, although they don't seem very good at their jobs, because restocking can take a while. The food has to be rationed sometimes. Maybe if they weren't so busy chasing people around in the dark, they'd get more done. At night, when the staff go nuts, everyone hunkers down inside the walls. Apparently, it's the same everywhere in this place, whatever this place even is. The IKEA, from which all other IKEAs sprang. Or maybe we're still in the regular IKEA, and this is all just a fever dream brought on by mind-numbing boredom. Who knows? I've been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I talked to stopped keeping track of time a long time ago. One guy, Chris, said he's been in here for years. There are rumors of people who've managed to get out. There are also stories about people who've seen the exit, only for it to disappear before their very eyes. Not everyone believes that, but I do. It explains how we got stuck in here in the first place. Sort of. I mean, come on. If we've got staff monsters and endless rows of high-quality Swedish furniture, why wouldn't there be a disappearing exit? Anyway, I went out scavenging for food with Sandra and Jerry today. Once you learn the landmarks, it's not that hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others. Not too far away, a huge section of stock shelves has collapsed against each other, and way off in the distance, we call it east. Not that anyone here knows for sure. There's a tower that looks like it's made of wood. It reaches all the way to the ceiling. Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. At night it lights up, so there must be people there. But apparently it's a few days' walk from here. No one really knows for sure. I guess I'm incredibly lucky. I slept out in the open for a week without getting ripped apart by the staff. That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. We found some food in the shop today. I guess the staff restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a phone on the wall, so I figured I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end, but it was just gibberish. Random words strung together with no real meaning. Ever seen a video of someone with aphasia? It sounded like that. They didn't answer when I spoke, though. Sandra says all the phones here are like that. As the journal draws to a close, it paints a vivid, harrowing picture of life inside the infinite IKEA. A world where survival hinges on scavenged supplies, makeshift fortresses, and the unpredictable movements of faceless entities known only as the staff. For those who find themselves trapped within, escape seems less like a goal and more like a distant, fading hope. And for those of us on the outside, one question remains. How many more have entered this IKEA and vanished without a trace? Perhaps one day the doors will open again, and not everyone who walks through will be so lucky to return. And so, in the heart of an infinite IKEA, where the ordinary becomes the unsettling, we are reminded of how fragile our sense of reality truly is. In a place where even the familiar can twist into the unknown, survival takes on a new meaning. But for now, as the lights dim and the world outside beckons, we step back from this strange, labyrinthine world. Sleep well, and remember, the next time you wander through those endless aisles, you may not be alone.